gentle peace of the lotus of crystalline divine substance enfold its manifestations among you, as I, the Lord of the world, humbly bow my knee upon the lotus throne to the glory of God, the I Am, in all of you who are manifestations of the same divinity which, like a sacred jewel in the heart of the lotus, unfolds here in the East. Some of you will soon receive a pearl of wisdom coming from Washington and released through the Darjeeling Council. And as you read it, you will have my message specifically sent out into the world pertaining to this coming year. Tonight, from Shambhala, I shall give you additional thoughts from our heart. For in this pearl I spoke and said, as Kipling also spoke, East is East, and West is West, and never the twain shall meet, is dissolved in God. For in God all shall meet, both the East and the West, the Orient and the Occident. And so before the sacred lotus throne of the Eternal, I greet you and enfold you in a mantle of cosmic peace, the peace of the eternal presence, just as the soft and gentle breezes of the Holy Spirit enfold the descending souls of men previous to coming into physical embodiment, and give them the blessings of heaven with the gentleness of an Aeolian harp. So do I tonight, with a mantle of this peace, enfold you and declare unto you that the peace of God is the crown which brings to fruition all of the endeavors and aspirations of the heart. For when men rest upon their laurels of accomplishment, and in a sense of God peace, understand that these accomplishments were brought about into manifestation by the great laws of God, a sense of reverence like a polished shaft of white light blazes forth from their heart to the heart of their own presence. And upon the return current of gratitude from God, the mantle of peace descends, saying, well done. I am so well aware of the sacred feelings within the hearts of many among the children of man. Individuals wearing still the dusty sandals of the road, traveling the busy highways of life, think many wonderful thoughts which have never been printed upon paper by ink for men to read. These thoughts become a part of the sacred record, permanently endowed by God with the power to manifest love and beauty. Occasionally, writers and sensitive individuals tap this great reservoir of spiritual power and draw therefrom some of the sacred thoughts of the most humble of mankind, and they print them in books, calling them their own. This is the spiritual treasure of all life. For little ones, I tell you, there is never a thought of your heart which God places there as a sacred jewel that does not remain in permanent manifestation. It remains there awaiting the more sensitive to seize it and to record it for the blessing of those not yet possessed with the faculty of being able to call forth this knowledge for themselves. When the spiritual eyes of perception of mankind are more widely opened, a greater cognizance of spiritual law will burst into manifestation. At the present time, in one of the great universities of this nation, research is going forward along extrasensory perceptions. This is a beginning, a crowbar, a wedge into our octave. But there is an easier path, a simpler path than that pursued through the intellect. Through the pathway of the heart, men can more quickly burst asunder the bonds that fetter them to earth and learn the great spiritual laws that make them master of their own destiny and enable them to assist the great cosmic tide of spiritual evolution as it sweeps across the planet with a flood tide of divine love and light and intelligence. Several years ago, beloved Mother Mary spoke through this messenger and made a prediction concerning the housing of the world, that it would be possible for mankind to change the colors of their rooms by a mere touch of electronic light. Already many of these processes are being developed, and today this is a reality. Subsequent inventions shall startle a world already surfeited in marvels beyond the ken of mortal mind in past generations. And yet, much of this is Atla reborn, some of it is Lemuria, but all of it is a manifestation of the good which God has in store for all men. One of the great ones from our band of light known to you as Ilarion, formerly St. Paul, declared, "Eye has not seen, neither has ear heard, nor has there entered into the heart of man those things which God has prepared for them who love him, to them who are the called according to his purpose." Blessed ones, the wonders of God defy the human consciousness. The imaginations of man, however, are often presumptive, and the writings recorded by man are often inflammatory and conducive to pull men down toward the earth, toward the chaotic, toward the deceitful, into an octave of discord, darkness, and despair. This is not of the light. Individuals who read and peruse and study these vain imaginings of men are but reaching into the garbage cans of life. And the time has come when the youth of the world and the more mature individuals of the world must discriminate between the type of material which they shall study and shall accept into their consciousness. If the youth of the world would accept the ascended master teachings, the world would soon be free from crime and from those desultory conditions which make life almost untenable for some people. I therefore, today, speaking to you on this great occasion of opportunity, looking forward into this year with hope, do most earnestly express the will of the great White Brotherhood that more and more the chelas of the ascended host will consider the great need of guiding the youth of the world in the right paths which they should go. You have heard it said as an old proverb, "As the twig is bent, so the tree is inclined to grow." Blessed ones, the youth of the world are a little more easily molded and shaped. With age, individuals have accepted the idea of calcination and hardening. This they need not accept. The fact that they have accepted it does not mean that this must continue. by the power of the God of peace, at inner levels I call for a dissolvement of the sediment from the consciousness of those in this place. May your bloodstream, may the consciousness of your mind, the pathways of light, the neurons, the nerves, the cells, and all that has to do with the power of thought within you, be set free from all human tenacity, that which clings to the earth, to mud, to muck. Remember, blessed ones, that the lily, precious as it is rooted sometimes in this muck. But you are not interested in that which is below. You are interested in the flowering of this lotus of life. And you are interested in the sweet essence and the perfume which emanates from this flower. Many of us had our origins in the dusty evolutions of this planet. I well recall my illumination beneath the bow tree. I was a pilgrim with a staff in hand, a pilgrim king, and yet in times past, in other embodiments, I was not always a king. You have known poverty and you have known great wealth, but both are manifestations of your own karma, in order to give you experiences in understanding life and the handling of substance and energy. Blessed are ye, and blessed is the earth, for the great white brotherhood, which has for so long looked ahead, is looking now ahead into the coming year with an anticipation that we can do more for you and that you can do more for yourselves in the coming year than has ever been possible before. In that connection, I return to the thought of the pilgrim. I say to you tonight, every one of you are pilgrims upon the path of life. You have a staff in your hand, and the staff, though it appear to be made of wood, is made of eternal substance, radiant, luminous. Your staff is God. Your staff is your mighty I Am Presence. If you will hold on to that firmly, you will not stumble. For as you look ahead, you will thrust your staff of light substance into the mires, the pitfalls of life, and you will perceive them ere they overtake you, rather than fall down in the pit thereof and look upward for help. Oh, we are ever so willing, and we have demonstrated our willingness to raise you in the past. And I think when you need it in the future, that we will be on hand to help whenever we can by cosmic law. But it is so needful for you to make greater use of the staff. Blessed ones, take your limbs, for example. If the limbs of your body, your hands, your feet, were to suffer from inertia, and you were not to use them, they would soon atrophy, and you would no longer possess this great faculty of walking, of moving about and demonstrating animation. Therefore, your spiritual limbs must be flexed, and you must learn to depend upon God. You must learn to depend upon the God within you. We here in Shambhala, the great white brotherhood, are men and women like yourselves. We wore a body identical to that which you now wear. We suffered the mortifications and the exaltations of life in a like manner as you now do. We were not, however, possessed with a great spiritual inheritance which is yours, for down through the ages the lives of great men have indeed reminded you that you can make your own lives sublime. Blessed ones, as I'm speaking to you now, I see before me the Spirit of light. And I see a parting of the way. And from the hand of the great silent watcher comes a beautiful manifestation. A manifestation of God, born upon a white scroll, and the scroll carried and winged toward me and toward my form by two snowy white doves. Upon the scroll is a beautiful thought, a thought manifestation, a thought form of the purpose and ideologies of the brotherhood in tangible form for the coming year. It is representative of a clarion call. It is a beautiful, long, golden trumpet. The trumpet is heraldic. It heralds the opening of the golden age of light which begins this year in absolute God perfection from our sphere. There is just a few inches from the front of this beautiful trumpet a little musical staff, as it were. And upon this there is one note, and the note is not round. It is shaped like a heart, and it is a beautiful pink, and from it extends a little staff upward with a tiny pink wing, and below it comes the staff down with another pink wing. The symbol, therefore, for this coming year is representative of the heralding of the golden age, of the clarion call to mankind to awake from the lethargy of the ages, for men to understand the purposes of their religion and their faith, not in any sense as a mere ritual itself, but as the unfolding and outpicturing of their own divinity. This one note in the shape of the heart, so pink and lovely, is symbolical that only divine love is the power that frees from all fear, that sounds forth the note that shall make men perfect in the golden age, the note of love that comes from the heart of God first, and then is outpictured in the heart of each individual manifestation of God. It is a symbol of peace because it speaks of love. For where love is, there is peace. And where there is strife, there is no peace. And therefore I rejoice in the symbol. I rejoice as the blessed silent watcher Immaculata has lowered this to us, to perceive it and to give it unto you tonight. I rejoice because of its meaning, the potency. I rejoice also because it speaks of harmony. There is a great and deeper meaning of harmony in it, and therefore the music of the world shall be blessed. Someone long ago declared that they did not care who would write the laws of the world if they could only write the music. Blessed and beloved ones, may the goddess of music seal this beautiful thought form with all the love and light from her heart, and bless all the musicians of the world with a greater sense of their mission to bring a stilling of the discordant harmonies in life, and to replace it by manifestations of beauty and perfection and love. This thought form is a thought form to galvanize the world. What is the meaning of a galvanization? I know some of you were slightly startled by my outburst, thinking, I am the gentle Buddha. Blessed ones, I am gentle. But I want you to be galvanized into action. For even the power of our thought in the East was in itself an action. But today, when the East is East, and the West is West, and the twain have met, action and meditation go hand in hand. You must learn to take this great spiritual gnosis, this treasury within you, and you must learn to use it in your daily affairs. It is a practical manifestation of divinity. God is most practical, blessed one. Beloved Moria secretly came into this room a long time ago this evening, and he would like to remind the blessed ones here that the light bulb by his picture is not functioning. I hope that you realize that we take notice of these little things, but he stated that inasmuch as the physical electricities were not functioning through this particular bulb, that he would provide an additional illumination himself to bless you with a radiation of himself. And so you see, we do work so well hand in hand, and we do so hope that you will learn to work hand in hand with one another, just as we do. Beloved ones, it is a great privilege to be able to hold a staff in your hand. It is even a privilege to go forth with a begging bowl as we did in the East, because it causes the human spirit to realize not that it should beg, but that the source of every good thing is God. In entering the new year, when every one of you comes to accept that your presence is able to supply you with every good thing, then there will be no need for any of you to lack, for you will all find the power to call forth from your presence whatever you need. I would like to say a word concerning consciousness and states of consciousness. Blessed ones, you see, our radiance and your own is only a difference of dimension. This may be a little difficult for you to comprehend in just the simple way I put it. It has a great depth of meaning within it, however. Individuals sometimes have a very, very small consciousness. Now, I am only referring to the physical consciousness. I am only referring to that little tiny aperture of awareness that exists in individuals, that makes individualization. For the God presence of all men is most magnificent. The mighty I Am presence of all is charged with God's own electronic substance from his own heart. It is a manifestation of divinity. But although you have this great treasure house, until you enlarge the opening of your consciousness, it is almost as if you could enlarge your silver cord, and you can. Until the silver cord connecting your physical form is able to expand and expand and expand until it is the size of your tube of light. And then nothing can be denied you, because you will have a direct channel with your own presence, so large, so beautiful, so magnificent, that the direct power of the presence is translated and transposed into the human octave on the instant. This is the secret of all precipitation. Blessed ones, unfortunately, individuals with small apertures with small openings in their consciousness for the good of God to flow, sometimes do not fully understand others who have a larger opening and a greater understanding. Do not therefore look upon another with avarice, with greed, with resentment, but prefer instead to enlarge your own aperture of consciousness, and you can individually draw forth whatever you need. I think it goes without saying, and yet I shall say it, that men need never lack if they go to the source. The source is your own presence. I have not chosen tonight to particularly startle you or entertain you. I have chosen to take this occasion to give you some instruction. Often I do instruct by radiation. Often I seal mankind in a mantle of my peace. And individuals often bask in that peace, just as people lay upon the beaches in the sun. And they are happy in the warmth and the love and the good feelings that come to them from the peace that flows from the heart of those of us at Shambhala. Tonight, I would amplify the power of peace. I would point out to you that the coming year, which is a year of opportunity, is a good time to make a resolution which you will keep. Oh, I know, blessed ladies and gentlemen of heaven, that so many times in the past you have made resolves and resolutions, and then because you have broken them, or they have not manifested as you would have them, you have felt remorse and regret. Blessed ones, do not forget that every ascended master, almost without limit, almost every ascended master, blessed one, when in human embodiment, has suffered from some limitation. I could cite one instance to show you that may be somewhat illuminating to some of you. Most of you perhaps are familiar with the beloved Jesus in connection with his great friendship for Lazarus. Most of you are probably aware of the fact that beloved Jesus was considered to be omniscient, to have all knowledge, and so he did. And yet, although he had all knowledge, when his beloved friend Lazarus passed on out of the physical form and was dead, Jesus did not know it in his outer consciousness. And when he was appraised of it, Scriptures do record that he wept, and yet he went to wake him out of sleep and restored him to consciousness. Blessed ones, even the great masters, in their manifestations, when they wore physical bodies and were subject to some human limitations such as you have, did not always manifest all the good that was stored in their causal body. But all of these had one thing in common. They had the determination, even as I do and did, to get up every time they got down. I want you to soak that into your consciousness and to realize through the coming year that the powers of negation and the acceptance of negation are almost the total cause for mankind getting into states of despair and inertia, because, as some wise one said, may God give you the knowledge, the power, and the wisdom to change those things which you are capable of changing, to accept those things which you cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. Blessed ones, The coming year is opportunity. What you shall make of it is your privilege, your responsibility. You are working hand in hand with a great spiritual fraternity. Some of you may choose to dedicate all portions of your life. Others may choose, as did Ananias and Sapphira, to hold back a part of yourself. We do not compel. We do not demand. It is your presence. Your human self is but a shadowed figment of human imagination. It is builded up of human momentums and race habits of thought and feeling. It will never bring you peace. You may be surfeited with human sense pleasures and the pleasures of creation, but these are not the fullness of the present. The fullness of the present, as Saint Germain once told you, is all that you desire. And when it is all that you desire, in truth and verity, the peace of God which I am shall seal you every moment of eternity, and nothing shall ever again rob you of your happiness. The Blessed One, is this not a wonderful thing? To never, never, never be robbed of your happiness, to be ever eternally filled with heaven's peace. Can anything stir the hearts of men any more than that? To realize that the turmoil and strife is indeed o'er, that peace, God's peace, like a gentle mantle of God's purity, is over the whole earth, making it a sphere of light, radiant and beautiful. Some men have speculated concerning their forms, and they said, how will we look when we have made our ascension? Blessed One, it is not so important how you look, for you can look any way that you wish, in one sense of the word, after you have made your ascension. It is how you feel. It is your feelings you must watch, for how you feel will determine how you look. If you feel grouchy, and I choose to use this word or expression, you are very apt to look so. But if you feel joyous, happy, buoyant, and free and peaceful, I think that you will look so. I do not think there is much hypocrisy really in the universe, for people are quite manifestations of what they think. And in view of all these great truths which you already know, I can only make this parting plea with you, because tomorrow is another day, and there are others who will speak to you concerning the great enfolding opportunities of this coming year. I make this plea once again, that you anchor all the truth you know about avoiding negation and thoughts of negation in your consciousness. I do not propose a struggle, for some individuals actually enter into a momentum of negation by struggling against it. But I prefer that you as individuals realize every time negation rears its ugly head, that you say, mighty I am presence, blaze your light through that manifestation, that aborted manifestation of your energy, and change that into a cherubic state of consciousness. Make that fear become peace. Change it. Then, just like Cinderella and the fairy godmother, your rags will turn to spiritual riches, and all the treasures of heaven and the universe will be yours. And you will not only join hands with us in God's peace, but you will join hands with every member of this great spiritual fraternity, and many of them whom none of you have ever heard of are here tonight. You know, blessed ones, if we were to tell you the name of every spiritual ascended being that has ever made their ascension through all of the past ages, you would be a long time in reciting this great rosary. Therefore, blessed ones, many of you who are quite wise have used this expression to include all the spirit of the Great White Brotherhood. And this is very lovely. It is beautiful because it encompasses all those dear and precious souls who serve equally, as I do, to protect, to project, to endorse, to love God. There isn't anything greater than loving God. And when you love God, you love all good. When you love all good, the law cannot fail. All that is good will love you. And you will become nourished by it. And you will expand into unity. Oh, then you will master perception, projection, precipitation, enfoldment, escape from the body, visitation to the retreat, unity with the angels, visibility of manifestation, invisibility at will. Nothing in the universe will be hidden except it be by design of God. Blessed ones, you belong to the light, and the light belongs to you. Looking therefore ahead, keep your attention upon that goal of your ascension, and peace, and forget the things which are behind. Blessed ones, in that connection, I would like to say a few more words. So many individuals, and it is true, some of them are helped by a knowledge of their past embodiment. But often, some become enamored with some portion of those past embodiments, and they fail to realize the opportunity of unfolding their own divinity in this one. And therefore I say to every one of you, look to God to unfold the life plan that the Father has for you as His Son. You are all like tiny snowflakes of light with a different electronic pattern, but you all belong to Him. You are crystalline, ascended master, light substance in manifestation. You are beautiful. You are flowers in Eden. You are members of Shambhala's court. For that, we love you. For that, we bless you. For all that you are and that I am in unity, I thank you. here tonight to declare unto you in God's name I am, that God is on your side. The infinite mercy of the Eternal is a reality made known to the sons of men whose consciousness is open to receive it. Tonight, as I speak to you, I ask by the power of the archangels and by the power of the other archaea that a radiance, a channel of light be opened between the octaves of earth and the octaves of heaven. And therefore, a tiny shaft of light begins to blaze its pathway toward earth. Like a penciled sunbeam, it comes down into this place and focuses within its center. It begins to expand. So I call forth an expanded radiance. The shaft is becoming wider and wider and wider. The circumference is spread and expanded until it floods this entire room, and the doorway to heaven and earth is open. This is a fulfillment of the scriptures which have long been spoken, saying, at divers times the heavens were opened. So tonight, in the name of God, I speak first of all to you concerning one of heaven's sons of love, whom it was my privilege to serve, for I attended him as one of the ministering archangels and angels in Gethsemane. I refer to beloved Jesus. Long ago upon the hillside he spoke a parable, which I am concerned with this night. He spoke of the return of the prodigal. He spoke of the return of the prodigal to the Father's arms. He spoke of the Father placing a chain of gold on the neck of the returning prodigal, and a kiss of peace upon the brow of that one, and saying, Thou art my beloved Son. So I say to you tonight, that as I speak to you, I would remind you that God is on your side. I would remind you that the mercy of life is to give all graciousness to mankind. I would remind you that it is the intention of God to bestow all of the perfection of the higher eternal spheres upon mankind. Therefore, naught that would manifest upon this planet would be anything but graciousness and perfection in manifestation from the greatest inventions which are used by mankind unto the great laws and codification of those laws, so that true Christ brotherhood and the feelings of divine love and compassion and mercy as experienced in the higher spheres called heaven by you would be a tangible reality among all mankind, producing and sustaining that Christ brotherhood which is of the light and which knows no shadow. Blessed ones, as I speak to you this night, we are honored by the presence of the 7 CHOHAN of the 7 rays, who have graced this sanctuary with their presence in order to add to the radiance of this place, so that this may be a memorable occasion indeed. Beloved El Moria, CHOHAN of the first ray, we salute you, thou who art a Son of God, who loves the will of God. We salute all of the CHOHANs of the rays that are here this night. And I especially wish to speak a word to salute beloved Saint Germain, who for 2,000 years has offered his life stream unto mankind, and therefore for 2,000 years he is King of the 7th ray. What a privilege it is for mankind to recognize this gracious and august assembly. Blessed ones, the great white brotherhood honors you still further this night, because as I am now speaking to you, I sight as from afar off a manifestation of other princes of heaven. And behold, we now have received in our midst Lord Michael, the archangel, the prince of the archangels, and all of the 7 archangels and their archii are now here together with myself to bring you a tremendous power of transmutation. For mankind needs this transmutation tonight as never before. For the forces of shadowed substance, of misqualified energy, which mankind call evil, and which is but a veil between the divine consciousness and the human, has gathered itself together to assault the light and to prevent mankind from seeing, to becloud their vision of beauty, of God's eternal love and compassion. This substance, which must fall from the eyes like scales, this substance of shadow acts as a dark glass to prevent mankind from seeing clearly the perfection and the immortality of God. Now, blessed ones, inasmuch as you have honored the presence of these great beings, will you please be seated? I rejoice tonight that there dwell among mankind life streams who can pay allegiance to the hosts of heaven and the heavenly banner. You will soon have made known to you the fact that a gift was made to this sanctuary of a flag with 50 stars. Some of mankind do not realize that in our octave and in heaven's realm, we are conscious of all that transpires among mankind that is constructive. We are ever so anxious to guard the freedom of America, the freedom of the world, and the freedom of the human soul to express the perfection, the beauty, and the sustaining radiance of the solar light itself. Beloved Helios and Vesta, and all the great God-parents, the various systems of worlds throughout the universe, all join me tonight in bringing greetings and love from God's infinite universe of light, spread abroad everywhere in an ever-expanding cosmos sent out from the heart of God. Blessed ones, I would say a word concerning the creation. In the beginning was God, and God was light. What is light? Is this a speaking concerning material light, subject to a limited band, a small spectrum of the vast cosmic dynamic frequencies? I tell you, no. It is the all light, the light of all that is and all that ever shall be. And this all light of God, in the beginning, as a great photon, a power of dynamic love, radiated out and produced all of the myriad systems of worlds which your astronomers and those learned in the science of astronomy have some limited knowledge of. Blessed and beloved ones, this light substance, this eternal cosmic reality, in itself, by reason of its brilliance, would have no definition. And therefore it would be like a blinding light, for no one would be able to look upon it and live and have individual reality. You have heard it said of old that no man could look upon God and live. And again you have heard it said that men should look to God. Blessed ones, understanding is what is needed, as Solomon declared long ago. With all thy getting, get understanding. How foolish the mankind of earth are at times to snatch upon a trifle, a sloka, a little limited section of Scripture, and by reason of a speck of sand or dust, Their entire consciousness is beclouded, and they deny themselves the infinite power and freedom that comes with the acceptance of all divine love. Therefore I say to you, blessed and beloved ones, that this great light of God, which in the beginning caused all things to come into being and have definition and reality, blazed through a prism, and this beautiful prism of crystalline substance divided the white light into the 7 color rays for your particular system of worlds. And therefore there came into manifestation the colors known as the rainbow, which of old was spoken concerning the Noachian epoch as the 7 mighty rays of the rainbow of promise, a promise of perfection. And individuals in mythology have spoken often of the great pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. They have referred sometimes to the fact that individuals were foolish to be chasing a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. Blessed and beloved ones, mankind has valued gold tremendously through the years, and they have valued the limited supply upon this planet. But the true gold of the Spirit, represented by the veins deep within the heart of the earth, is the great concern of the ascended hopes that mankind would find the purpose of existence and the reality, that the scales should drop from their eyes and they should behold justice and see the scales of justice replacing the human concepts of injustice. As an archaea of light, it is my privilege to have a sense of the dignity of God. The dignity of God is a very wonderful thing to behold. And with all the great dignity and love of God, He reaches out arms of light to place upon the necks of all mankind this night a chain of gold. Not a chain to bind, but a chain of gold and electronic light to bring them knowledge of His great love. You have heard it said that ignorance of the law is no excuse. Mankind have chosen involuntarily often and voluntarily seldom to ignore the law of God. And the law of karma has acted because there was no excuse. But always have the lambs found that the wind has been tempered to the shorn lamb. Blessed and beloved ones, the mercy of God, the violet fire, that portion of the rainbow of light representative of the highest vibration, the violet, the purple, the royal, all of this has given to man the highest rays of Ra, the regal, the great mercy of God which reached down. And I speak tonight to you to remind you of Magdalene. Magdalene was fallen. She was a woman among the friends of blessed Jesus, and yet she was raised through mercy and the power of mercy to become one of heaven's choicest elect. There is hope for every one upon this earth, for none have fallen so low that the power of light and light's perfection cannot reclaim its own. There is hope for all who will seize the hands of God and place them within their own, and will realize that ours is a reality, that it is not a figment of the imagination, that it is not human claptrap, but that it is the perfection of life itself, made manifest within your beating hearts as divine love and mercy. Today, mankind stand at the threshold of a great decade. Although this is the year 1961, blessed one, this is a great decade for the mankind of earth. For the violet fire of mercy and forgiveness is flooding the earth as never before. The mounting crescendos, the momentums of human prayers, of calls from all the faiths of the world, and from our blessed Sheilas of Saint Germain, has caused God to respond in a very tangible way. At Christmas, just preceding the Christmas season, beloved Jesus spoke to the people of the city of Boston and declared to them that this year the great radiant Christ love of God should be amplified 3 times its intensity in any previous year since he was born in Bethlehem long ago. And therefore this year many strange and wondrous things have taken place among mankind. And they have received a great lift toward higher realms of peace and perfection. Tonight I would say something to you concerning the services that have been rendered to you through the years by the great CHOHANs of the rays who are here. They are very modest gentlemen when it comes to claiming praise. But, beloved one, I am not in the least bashful as an archaea to honor those blessed and beloved ones who at one time wore mortal garments the same as you wear, who experienced the difficulties of living upon this planet because of the effluvia of human creation and human discord. How many of you would like to experience a martyr's passing? How many of you would like to experience a Golgotha? How many of you would like to have the experiences of a Gandhi? Blessed and beloved ones, those who have offered their souls to the light and their love to humanity deserve great honor from you among mankind. For many years individuals have thought in their religious worship concerning one great God. And then religions have given them an insight into great cosmic beings who came in human form as avatars. They have also understood that some from among mankind attained the perfection to become masters of their own destiny. And so the purity of a Buddha was made known to mankind. The light of the Christ of Bethlehem was revealed in the star which shone so radiantly 2,000 years ago. And today, men feel the tangible reality of the great cosmic masters, of the great White Lodge, the lodges of perfection of the great White Brotherhood. Archangel Zadkiel has stood, strange though it may be, to the consciousness of mankind as a guardian protector of 2 seemingly opposite lodges among mankind, both the Knights of Columbus and the Masonic fraternity. This may seem very strange to mankind, but those of you who have higher illumination are aware that your own beloved Saint Germain was Christopher Columbus in that embodiment. Blessed ones, you are also aware that this same Saint Germain was the Grand Master of the Masonic order in its original purity which long ago existed. And therefore it is not so difficult to understand that the violet fire, the protection of Lord Zadkiel, and the infinite purple cape, which has so long rested in a mystical manner in ages past upon the shoulders of brave men, should in itself be a lesson in symbolism for mankind. For although men today consider that these 2 fraternities are opposite, yet at inner levels all is light and all is love and all is perfection. Your own beloved President Abraham Lincoln long ago spoke concerning binding up the nation's wounds. I, holy amethyst, say to you tonight that the world's wounds may be bound up and given great comfort by the use of the violet fire. I therefore call tonight to the heart of Alpha and Omega in the great central sun, and joining me in invocation is the sacred tones of the 7 CHOHANs of the rays. Joining me in invocation is the sacred tones of the angels themselves, using the great mantrams of heaven and calling to God within the great central sun to flood the city of New York with violet fire, to flood the earth with violet fire, to wrap an intensified tape of violet fire over all of the planetary body, until no man, woman, or child upon this earth shall lack in a perception of the love of God for every part of His creation, without limit, expanded limitlessly, to remove imperfection, to cause hearts to drop the false shackles which have bound them, and cause them to embrace love for love's sake itself, and to know that life and light and love and illumination are realities, and to know that these realities are God's and belong to the elect, to those chosen ones who shall shuffle off the mortal coils of imperfection and shall accept in their place the sacred robes of righteousness in the right use of life and life's power. Use the violet transmuting flame. You people who know of its use and efficacy, use the violet transmuting flame. I ask you to revitalize your violet flame groups as never before. I have heard it said that some lack enthusiasm. Let them look to me, holy amethyst, for enthusiasm, for we do not know the limitations of humanity which they have accepted. I say to you, blessed ones, the acceptance of imperfection is false. Be not deceived. It is the will of God which is sacred. It is the love of God which delivers. It is the mercy of God which transmutes. And those of you who shall hold the hands of your own God presence with a great tangible sense of reality, knowing that as you have an earthly father and an earthly mother, for all of you have had both, knowing then, I say, that when you place your hands in the hands of God, the mighty I Am present, you are placing your hands in a tangible reality, a reality which is very real to us. For if we were to lose our polarization, which God be thanked is not possible for an archai or an archangel, we would go instantly to the heart of God, and burying ourselves there within the great enfolding light and love of His presence, we would recharge ourselves as do the cherubim annually. O blessed and beloved ones, be not deceived by the maya, the curtains of delusion and shadow. Blaze the violet fire as never before, as never before, as never before. The world around. This is efficacy because it is God's mercy. It is representative of the polarization of eternal light through the prism of love, the most powerful force in the universe. It is a tangible manifestation of this great polarization of light substance through divine wisdom. And I think that divine wisdom encompasses all human knowledge. It is also the polarization of the great light of God through this prism of power, the power which is God. When you pray in the words of Jesus saying, thine is the power, you are giving the power to its rightful source. And when you give power through the misuse of I am and declare I am limited, beloved ones, you are yourselves forging shackles which hold you bound to the human miseries which have actually caused mankind so much suffering through the centuries and have brought about the manifestation of saviors, of avatars, of descending divinities to the earth, and have made necessary our services. The day shall come, and although an archai may not be considered to be a prophet, yet I say to you, the day shall come when all upon this planet shall find their God truth. There is an advertising slogan used today, eventually, why not now? And I say to you, blessed ones, this is the expediency of God. This is the expediency of life. Why will you wait while the candle of your own individual physical embodiments burns low? You can recharge your physical bodies. Do you think that God that endowed that tiny form which you once were is today incapable of vitalizing the atoms, the cells, the molecules of your body and flooding them with violet fire and giving you the radiance of our youth, of our eternality? Do not the scientific laws of your own world teach you the power within an atom itself? And so you know that atomic energy and radioactivity are productive of great cycles of life-releasing energies. Therefore I say, charge yourselves with this energy. Use the violet fire. Use the mercy of God. Accept love, not as mere beautiful words to be spoken, but as a tangible influence in your life. Then you will not find it easy to speak words against one another. You will not find it easy to harm one another. You will not find it easy to cause discord anywhere in the world. But you will open your consciousness to accept the descending dove of the Holy Spirit, the violet transmuting flame of Saint Germain. You will come to the point where you will kneel in reverence before God, before His violet flame, before the Maltese cross. You will know the meaning of a Knight of Malta. You will know what it means to be a lady of God, a lady of heaven, to be a cosmic being, to be an angelic being, to return to your Father's house. Where is the individual that dares to declare that I am not speaking to you? Where is the individual that dares to declare that God is not in His heaven, that God is not on your side? The question remains, are you upon His side? Blessed ones, choose this day if you would probe the mysteries of God, for the mysteries of God are meant to be revealed. The golden light of illumination of Christ's intelligence as epitomized and exemplified by the great White Brotherhood, by the great CHOHAN of the rays, by the cosmic masters who are able to transport their bodies through space, through interstellar space, through walls, through temples, through mosques, through human hearts, through recalcitrant substance is a reality, and no one can remove this reality from existence. I challenge anyone, anywhere, to attempt to remove or to dominate the power of God, for the mercy of God endureth forever, and the mercy of God is a tangible reality. This is a substance, this is life, this is the mantle of perfection, which shall make everyone upon this planet a little child of God, who can kneel before their own God presence and mature in Christ's perfection until they stand masters of dominion, rulers over their own worlds, with the God dignity which life itself would afford everyone. Beloved ones, do you think that God would have any creature walking the streets in hunger, in lack, in bitterness, in the desire to do away with one another, to extinguish life? Do you think that God would feel so? I tell you, God has never expressed aught but life, love, and perfection. Various individuals down through the pages of history, known to many of you, whom you call cosmic masters and great cosmic beings, have lived upon earth, even as Apollonius of Tyana and others, in a great manifestation of the God perfection which all life was intended to have. Therefore, this violet fire is in itself a manifestation of such beauty that I would desire tonight that Alpha and Omega should help you to see it as it is charging forth through this place tonight. I have made this place a focal point tonight, a hub of our radiance, and the spokes of violet fire are pouring across the planet with a speed greater than your fastest jets, even into the heart of Siberia, where men are laboring beneath communism, where they are laboring, struggling for life and existence, with despair in their hearts. The violet fire is blazing. It is a star of such hope and such magnitude as I hope you shall never forget. For if you will catch the vision of that which I am telling you of, and will and desire to do, I will assist you tonight while you sit within this place in rising in consciousness. I know that among you there are those who have speculated as you watch the birds of the air in their flight, and you have pondered and said, how wonderful to be able to move through the great, pure reaches of sunlight and air as do the birds. Blessed ones, if you were cosmic masters, you could this night shed your bodies easier than a cocoon, and you could arise in light substance, travel anywhere, not only upon this earth or within the earth, but to other systems of worlds, across the great insular cosmic highway. The power of God, the power to arise from pain, from sickness, from self-inflicted misery is every man's who will accept it. There are none who need fail to be recipients of the mercies of God. There are none who need continue to go hungry. Beloved Mother Mary said long ago very beautiful words in the Magnificat. And I hope that ere 7 days elapse, there will not be one of you in this place that will fail to read the words that Mary spoke in that glorious Magnificat. Here upon this pink heart covered with lace is an amethyst, a gift of one of our Sheilas in Canada to our messenger. This amethyst is a tie between the great nation of Canada and this country, America. I desire therefore this night to charge and 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 charge this amethyst with my own life's perfection, with the power of the Archie, and I ask Lord Zadkiel to charge it also with his radiant flame of perfection, to endow it with mercy and perfection, not only for this day, but for all days to come. When this messenger shall wear this jewel upon his finger, it shall be representative of this occasion and this night. For it is to be made into a lovely ring, to be worn on sacred occasions, and also as he may desire, for the blessing of all mankind, in a divine bishopric. Blessed ones, I also desire more this night, and therefore this blessed pillow shall be laid upon the altar. And at the close of this service, all who have amethyst, who desire to bring them to this altar and touch this amethyst with their own, will receive a tangible memento within the sacred atomic structure of their own amethyst, which shall be charged as long as they shall endure in the physical form with a radiance of life's mercy to help sustain them through the days ahead, that those days may be days of as great a tranquility as the karma of the individual ought to have, tempered by as much mercy as the cosmic law can afford their life stream. Therefore, blessed and beloved ones, I would tell you in taking my leave that the great white brotherhood is going to perform a work through the coming year of greater magnitude than ever before. And those of you who are wise and perceptive, as were the 5 wise virgins, will actually seek to have the oil of spiritual illumination potential within the lamps of your life. And you will study as never before to show thyself approved unto God, that you may never be ashamed, but may be gentlemen and ladies of heaven, users of the violet flame, wearers of the mantle of perfection, acknowledgers of the mercy of God. Now, the blessing of Archangel Zadkiel be upon you all, and seal you in a mantle of absolute God perfection, mercy, and protection throughout every remaining hour, moment, day, and year of your life, and give you the mercies of eternity forever. I take my leave of you now, until such a day and hour as you shall come to know me personally, being able at inner levels to see the magnitude of my great compliment, Archangel Zadkiel, and I whom you choose to call by the name Holy Amethyst. Holy Amethyst I am, and Holy Amethyst I shall be. And someday you too feel completely in the great octaves of violet fire, shall never more remember the pains or the imperfections of life, but shall know only the perfection of the violet sphere, of the ruler of the violet planet, of the violet planet, of the light of God, of the prism of perfection, of love, of wisdom, of power, and never shall there be in existence any more the hurt, the deceit, and the veil, for you shall be one with God, even as I am, except
heart friends of the ages, I am here this evening with a feeling of intense love and fraternity, for tonight many of you who are present have journeyed some distance, some of you in space and some in time, for there are in this place this evening friends who have known me personally in many embodiments of the past, and with whom I am presently happy to be identified with in this constructive endeavor. I greet you and I salute you one and all in the name of your own God present. I am. Won't you please be seated? How wonderful, my friends, that the rays of light from your own God presence are not bedimmed by human tears. How wonderful that the rays of light from your own God presence do not wane in their effectiveness. I am rejoicing in the fact that your presence is able today to sustain you in all of the dignity and beauty which you were brought forth from the heart of God in the beginning. Human consciousness and the human frailties of life may take their toll upon those who accept the negations of life, but those who will keep their gaze unalterably fixed upon their presence are still sustained by that presence, regardless of the appearances. Beloved ones, no mere words can alter the power and the perfection of the presence of God. If mankind declares there is no God, I say to you tonight that this is immediately rendered of no effect, for thousands unknowingly throughout this planet every day, when they declare I am, are affirming the very existence of being. Likewise, the moment you open your eyes and consciousness floods into your being, you are affirming the existence of God. I say unto every one of you, the will of God, which is good, is flooding into your consciousness in like manner every day. You must learn to listen. You must learn to meditate upon the will of God. Individuals often are taken unawares by a slight bit of quicksand when they allow the mire of human consciousness to seep in upon them, and they accept the imperfections of life. If they would look up to the presence of God and keep their gaze riveted there, regardless of human appearances, they would soon learn how to produce the frequencies of our octave in their own world. There are some individuals who have smiled within themselves and said that they have tried to do this for a period of many years without the measure of success which they had hoped for. Beloved ones, you have tried a portion of one lifetime. How many lifetimes do you think some of us tried to produce perfection and to call forth perfection before we succeeded? But you are living in an entirely different time. You are living in an era of God's perfection, when with the power of the ascended host, and with the power of the angelic host, and the power of the violet flame, you can find your freedom as never before. I know and I am convinced that gratitude should and does flow from the heart of every one of you who are aware of this great gift from the heart of your own presence. Beloved ones, tonight as you were singing your songs, to my humble self, I rejoice, for it took me back in memory to those beautiful isles upon which I spent many a happy year in physical embodiment. I am particularly thinking of the Emerald Isle and of the beauty of Shannon and the countryside in Ireland. There is something especially picturesque and peculiar in the line of inner beauty to that great and magnificent country to which I would like to pay tribute. Beloved ones, the harp that once through Tara's halls rings again in your midst tonight, for I am impelled to think of all of the beauty of friendship. Among mankind today, in the hustle and bustle of commercial confusion, individuals sometimes fail to take the time to pause and meditate upon the great blessing which friendship brings to all mankind. You are friends, you are neighbors, you are comrades in a spiritual endeavor, marching forward toward your victory. And I tell you that the friendship of the ages which endured between my own life stream and beloved Kasumi and Dwal Kul is in itself a living, eternal memorial to the power of friendship. Recently, mankind have caroled out, "We three kings of the Orient are," and both Walcool and beloved Kasumi themselves always rejoice with me on this occasion and bring a sweet blessing to the youthful and aged carolers who are thus honoring that mission which we made across the desert sands, guided by the star that holy night. Blessed ones, the beauty of all eternal endeavors is in the permanence of those endeavors. To this present day, mankind are honoring that trek across the sand. Yet many of mankind who were great war heroes and so-called warlords have gone down into the ranks of infamy and are scarcely mentioned by history. How precious it is that life streams can be devoted to a principle. I am constantly rejoicing in the thought that there live today men who are willing to stand for a principle, men who are willing to stand for beauty, men who are willing to stand for the perfection of their own presence. I have tried, beloved Kasumi has tried, the entire great white brotherhood has tried through the ages to bring to the mankind of this blessed planet all of the love, all of the power, all of the beauty of God. Some men do not feel that we have manifested that perfection. Blessed ones, if there be any lack, the lack is in the human octave. It is because individuals have kept their attention riveted to the imperfections of life. When mankind shall turn their whole heart toward God with the same intensity which they turn it toward the imperfections of life, they will swiftly bring about a change in their dimensions of consciousness. An expansion will occur, and for this purpose this night I am here. I am here to give you not just a bird's eye view, blessed ones, but an ascended master's eye view of life's perfection. In this place tonight, there are a large number of you who particularly yearn to visit me at Darjeeling in my lovely retreat. I have opened my doors constantly to different life streams who have desired to come closer to the will of God. And when they have warmed themselves by my fires, some of them were not aware that the fires were the burning, flaming beauty of God's will, which is always in existence and manifestation in our library. Blessed one, I stand with open arms and open heart to every one who is willing to come here that they may learn more about the beauty, more about the plan of eternal perfection. Mankind's attention today is frequently turned to so much of the outer world that it is difficult for them to envision the perfection of the ascended Master's octave. I would that you would gain a greater sense of our presence. I would that you would gain a greater sense of the perfection of the present. The present has arms of light which reaches out to enfold every life stream upon this earth at every moment. And this is a tangible manifestation. And individuals turn their back upon the presence and the light thereof and choose to look at shadowed creation. Then who do they have to blame when they outpicture shadows? I do not think they can blame the ascended host. I do not think they ought to blame their presence. I think that mankind should be honest in heart and fix the blame upon their misplaced attention. We have been extremely patient, and we continue patient, but the great law, blessed one, knows no partiality. The blessed law acts in accordance with your thoughts. If your thoughts choose to go in the direction of error, the law follows. And the law does not err, neither does it make a mistake. Some men have thought that they might be able to cheat the great law, but the law always functions with perfection. Where the will of God, therefore, is brought into manifestation by obedience to the presence of life within the beating heart, then the great law brings its own reward of love. And love never fails. Blessed one, long ago, during the days of the Theosophical movement, I worked exceedingly hard to bring forth and externalize, through Madame Helena Blavatsky, the teachings of the Theosophical movement. And there were many individuals who at that particular time hearkened to the knowledge, the inspiration, and the wisdom which came forth to us and were illumined. Then the call went forth at a later date to beloved Godfrey, and there were any number of individuals who responded with alacrity throughout the country and nation. There was a galvanization. The knowledge of the I Am Presence was made manifest. Some individuals who followed us in the days of the Theosophical movement did not choose to leave the comfort and safety of that movement, but chose to remain there and would not march into the greater light which came forth through the mighty I Am Presence. Down through the centuries, mankind have often failed to stir themselves to accept a greater light as it bursts into manifestation. But, beloved ones, those of us of the ascended host, as you know, are not conditioned by man's responses. We are of ourselves a part of the great law, and therefore, as a part of the great law in God manifestation, we bring forth a plan of divine perfection from our level, whose purpose is the enlightenment of all mankind. And it is up to individuals to find a spark of response in their own heart and consciousness, so that they may follow that light wherever the light may lead. The purpose, the reason in this day and age that we have brought forth the Summit Lighthouse activity has been entirely that we might coordinate a universal government under God, a unification of a divine principle, and the release of that knowledge which mankind terms metaphysical, so that individuals who presently follow any number of different endeavors, who presently have a number of different concepts, may be able to unite under our banner and therefore present a united front to those individuals who are presently a part of the Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist movements of the world. It is very distressing, beloved hearts, to individuals who come out from one of these movements and enter into what they feel is greater light, only to find that there is a division or a striving or an irrational condition existing where individuals are speaking malicious words against one another. These individuals feel then that they had best return to the particular doctrine and teachings which they begun with as children, and they feel that perhaps they have been led astray, and therefore it is extremely wise that we bring all men to the summit of their own existence under God. It is not our purpose to merely bring about an organization in itself. But I say to you, beloved ones, that at Runnymede, the Magna Carta is a great document, and the Magna Carta was actually spiritually forged in order to bring this great charter into manifestation so that freedom and the cause of freedom could be glorified among mankind. The Constitution of the United States, which was brought into manifestation and released through your beloved St. Germain, was also a precious document which was brought into manifestation for a purpose. Do you think, blessed ones, that the United States of America was brought into manifestation for the sake of the commercial interests of the world? Do you think that the people were bound together heart to heart in the stormy days of the Revolution in order to create great railroads and the marts of commerce? Nay, I tell you, these are all incidental, but necessities of communication and transportation. But, beloved ones, the purposes of this great nation is to bring forth freedom under God, where men can learn the power of love, the power of their own I am presence, that America could become an ascended master nation and fulfill the dream of the ages. How far this nation has departed from that standard is reflected in the annals of crime reported by your own Federal Bureau of Investigation. Blessed ones, this is not the plan of God, and we declare to you this night that the pathway to emancipation lies in unity. The United States in itself would lack a great deal of its present power if it was made up of 50 struggling, sovereign, independent states who were not united. Its great strength lies in its union. Although the individual states may have their individual charters and tasks of existence in their own legislatures, still there is a great unity in the central government of this nation. And it is in this same idea that we have drawn forth the idea of the Summit Lighthouse. All the religious, all the constructive secular endeavors of mankind are brought forth by the light, and the light is the light of God. All of these constructive endeavors have one purpose. Individuals making them up may differ in their thoughts and their concepts. They may not always agree, and nevertheless, there is one constructive purpose in all of these endeavors. That is to bring about the freedom of mankind, the enlightenment of mankind, the peace of mankind. And therefore, our purpose in bringing forth the Summit Lighthouse, as I said before, has been to produce unity. When you therefore have a violet flame meeting in this place or in any of the various sanctuaries of this endeavor throughout the world, would it not be a very good idea if as many of you as possible were in attendance in order to build up the momentum of the violet flame and draw forth the power of the sacred fire? Individuals who remain separate and do not choose at all times to unite themselves together are not following the will of God. Where are differences created, beloved hearts? Are they created in the mind and heart of God, who is all unity? Are they created in the mind of Micah, the angel of unity? Differences are created in the human mind, and played upon by the sinister force in order to amplify the powers of separation and to divide you and to keep you from unity in the spirit of life and light and love. In Darjeeling, when we open our arms and we say, come to our fireside, warm yourselves upon the sacred fires, partake of our Holy Communion. Do we not welcome all? I think so. We welcome everyone. As we welcome everyone, therefore, I say, in every place where they would hold forth this light, let men come together. Some have felt that at the particular time when our messenger is speaking, they desire to manifest themselves and be in attendance. When our messenger is not present, some of them feel that perhaps because they will not hear an actual message spoken to them from Darjeeling, that it is not necessary for them to make the trek. I would remind them that a momentum is being generated when you come together for the purposes of the sacred fire and the violet flame. I would remind them that your leaders in this place have been appointed by God for a reason and have poured out their devotion. Individuals may choose to see people in a different light than we see them. Beloved ones, I tell you that every one of you who holds an immaculate concept of one another will never regret it, for then you will make no mistake. If you should hold a concept which is not light about a brother or sister of the light, and this concept later be proved wrong, I think it is you who will be embarrassed, and we would not have anyone suffer embarrassment, for we would have everyone feel the power of love. And therefore my plea tonight is a plea for absolute unity. Let no one here think that I speak because there is any discord in manifestation. Nay, I speak in order to weld you together so that you will realize that the bonds of love, the bonds of peace, the bonds of eternal graciousness are real and tangible, that they are more powerful than any creation that the human is able to produce. I am telling you this in order that you will realize, as you do already know, that love is stronger than all hate or discord. I am telling you this so that the will of God, which we have served for so long, will attain a greater push, and that the cosmic push this coming new year will cause countless hungry millions throughout the world, hungering for the law of the I Am Presence, to receive sustenance and nourishment, that the planetary body may be blessed and hallowed by greater radiation from the ascended masters, because more men and women will understand the great law. When you first came into this light, I ask you, blessed ones, did you not feel ever so good when you sat in our radiation and you heard the messages go forth? When you felt the great surge of power flowing through your bodies and consciousness and setting you free from a consciousness of your physical form, your limitations, and of all those conditions which bound you, did you not feel great happiness? Was it not as though you were lifted up on wings? Then, blessed ones, do you not wish to share this with others? I think that you do, seeing you have such an expansive heart, a heart which comes from God. It is no different than my own. Blessed ones, seeing you have such a heart, then open the doors of your heart. Open your doors toward the great power of the great white brotherhood, toward the power of unity, toward the power where there is strength. You have seen the illustration often of how one stick could be so easily broken. And at the present time, there are so many endeavors which declare that they are endeavors of the I Am Presence. It is true, all men are manifestations of the I Am Presence. But all do not know the law. All do not live the law. All are not preparing themselves for their ascension as you are. And yet, all should. I come to you tonight because as your head schoolmaster,
as your principal, as your governor. In one sense of the word, I am expected to speak words of inspiration to you. I am also expected to chastise you, which I have not done for some time. And in view of the fact that so many of you have not received any chastisement for a long time, and because I love you so much, I have decided tonight that it is about time that some of you receive a little prodding. Blessed one, you do not want to take the grade over. You do not want to see others take the grade over. You want the power of divine love to be victorious. I would not desire to see you have fear in your world. I would not desire to see you motivated by fear. I would like to see you motivated by the love for humanity, and therefore enter into your ascension with joy. Now, is it not a wonderful thing, if you are planning on entering into your own ascension, to take as many with you as possible, therefore to present a united front to the world is to present God to the world. Can God be divided? Do you think the Darjeeling Council are divided? Do you think the spirit of the Great White Brotherhood is divided? If so, it is a holy Eucharist. When we say, take, eat, this is my body, as Jesus said, take, eat, this is my body, which was broken for you, it is symbolical of the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit, all of God made manifest. If all of God is made manifest, I think it must all go in the same direction. And if it goes in the same direction, then we will have a body through which to work. And if we have a body through which to work, that body will be strong with our strength. It will be wise with our wisdom. It will be wise as a serpent, but as harmless as a dove. Oh, beloved ones, you can believe me that if all those endearing young charms, for as I gaze on you tonight, I see you as such. I do not see hairs that have changed in color to white. I do not see wrinkles or lines upon your faces, for I am beholding you in your bodies of light substance. And I want you to think of yourselves in those bodies of light substance. I want you to think of yourselves in eternal perfection. I want you to think of all mankind in perfection. Beloved Mother Mary, who sends her greetings and her love tonight through me, desires that you shall hold an immaculate concept of one another. This is more than a mere word service, a mere lip service. This is the dynamic power of your own mind in action, of your own heart in action. When you take the power of your mind and your consciousness and you hold an immaculate concept of another, how can individuals gossip? How can they speak a single word against the imperfection of another life stream if they hold an immaculate concept? You cannot produce a lie and call it the truth. The truth, blessed ones, is true because it is God, and God is perfection. Therefore, I say, when you hold an immaculate concept of one another, you will be moving forward into the coming year with the greatest impetus for victory that the student body have ever had. And tonight I pray in God's name that you will accept my message in the spirit of love which I give it. For though I speak with soundless chastisement, I come with the great enfolding love of the ascended hosts and cosmic beings, making a plea for a divine unity which will accomplish the will of God upon this sweet earth and will cut countless individuals free from discord and confusion and unhappiness which will serve to inspire your own president-elect in this nation with a forward look into the power of his young heart, so that this entire nation under God shall be blessed. Inasmuch as I guide so much the destinies of this nation, I think that many of you who were somewhat disappointed with the results of the election will understand that the goddess of liberty and those of the ascended host do not always look at outward situations. There are reasons beyond the ken of most individuals sometimes why various events transpire. We always try to bring into manifestation that which is best for the planetary body. There are so many individuals in the great white brotherhood, service, blessed ones, who are not identified with any particular spiritual endeavor and are unknown to anyone on the face of this earth, even to one another. Beloved K-17 has any number of representatives in the Cosmic Secret Service. Some of these know one another and some do not. There are yet remaining unsolved many scientific mysteries. There are new frontiers. There is room for pioneering in many ways. But if men think that by reaching out into space and spending millions to attempt to reach out into space, they shall solve the planetary needs they do air, for hunger and pain and confusion and strife and hatred and all inequity on this planet must be corrected before this great solar system can find this blessed earth in its rightful place, emitting the light which it has within itself, within its great heart. Oh, blessed children of Saint Germain, blessed children of the I Am race, blessed Minutemen of Saint Germain, all of you who love the light and have served it for so many years, I want to pay tribute to each one of you. Each one of you, you who have served leading decree classes, you who have served in sitting in the audiences and participating, you who serve as sanctuary directors, those who are messengers. It is not a matter of one being greater than another. Beloved Jesus, at the Last Supper, when he put the towel about himself, said, "He that would be great among you, let him be a servant to all." And I think that we of the ascended host, who have long won our freedom and know the feeling of God's freedom and bliss, and yet come down into the sordid, recalcitrant atmosphere of this planet in order to sweep it clean and pure of imperfection. I think that we know a little bit about human discord, and I think that we prefer our own octave to the atmosphere of earth at times, and yet we serve. I know that it is extremely difficult when you wear physical forms, when you receive the thought forms of individuals projected at you, which tell you of discouragement, which tell you of man's downfall, and speak of negation and pain. It is extremely difficult for some of you, and I know that at times you go to bed at night with a feeling of weariness, and you wonder sometimes, blessed ones, just why this is so. All of this is because the power and pressure of light and of your presence is not fully entered into by your consciousness. And so tonight, by the power vested in me, I shall lower my voice, and yet I shall increase the power of light. I, Moriel, Lord of Love's first ray, speak directly
In the name of God, the mighty I am present to the forces of nature and the forces of the elements, and I say, let there be light in this place. Let that light penetrate the mind, the consciousness, the feelings of every individual here, and let it cut them free in the name of God by the power of the sacred fire and the power of the sacred heart of every ascended being from all that is discouraging and all human thought forms and human thought processes, and let it raise all in this place upward in light to a vision of God's beauty, to a vision of the whole world as an emerald isle of beauty and perfection, over which blazes a canopy of God's will like a blazing blue sky, in which is a sun of divine wisdom and splendor. Let this light flood the minds, the worlds, and the affairs of everyone in this place, and let all be sustained through the coming days of this year by a feeling of absolute God perfection. So have I spoken in the name of God, the mighty I am present. So do I give you my love, blessed ones, and not mine alone, but the love of all, the love of every ascended being, of every angel, of every elemental, of every deity and builder of form. All are yours to command, if you command in the name of your mighty I am present, if you command with firmness, with love, and with a desire to see only good externalized everywhere. This is greater than all the wisdom of mankind, and even Solomon, in all his wisdom, possessed nothing greater than the power of his I am present. You have that power in your hand. You have this scepter of righteousness. You hold it within your right hand. Take command, therefore, and no longer be dismayed, affrighted, or afraid. You are representatives of the new age, and the masters of wisdom plan during this class to galvanize as many of you as possible into greater light and perfection. There is no ultimate, blessed one. You need it, and we need you. And God will use each and every one of you who will open your heart's door according to his great divine plan, his will, and his life. I thank every one of you who have traveled and journeyed to this place tonight. It is reminiscent of former days, and the days that are coming shall continue to expand and expand and expand. And you who sit here tonight and are convinced of that shall be in the vanguard of our activities, either upon this planet or in the vanguard of light itself, serving with our counsel until every man, woman, and child upon this earth is God-free and ascended in the light. This is the will of God. I am the will of God made manifest, made manifest, made manifest. Thank you, each one. Good night.